when it says find all the zeros, that just means find all the solutions, find all the answers. All right, can y'all look at number 1? How many answers are we going to have on this problem? Anybody know?
3.
Look at your biggest exponent. So we got 3 answers. Okay? So here's how we're going to do this one. If that's x plus 5 equals 0 and you move it over, that's going to be negative 5, correct? So we're going to put negative 5 in the box, we're going to call it. We're going to work these out by synthetic division. Not going to make you do long division. This is much quicker and much easier. All right, everybody good on how we got negative 5? Now, we're going to bring down just the numbers in front of each x. I'm going to bring down 1, 9, 23, and 15. Leave a space, draw a line. All right, does anybody remember the first step on synthetic division? Take the 1, bring it down under the line. Take the first number. In this case, it's a 1. All right, here we go. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Add them up. What do you get? 4. Everybody see how we got 4? Just added those numbers up. Now you do it again. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Add them up. You add those up, you should get a 3. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. What happens on the last column? If you've done this right, guys, the last column should always cancel out, which means our first answer is negative 5. All right, any questions so far on that? Again, I don't know if Coach White got to this last year. All right, but Ms. Carter's class did. All right, but we got to find 3 answers. That's our first answer. How do we find the remaining answers? Well, we're just going to take these 3 numbers right here, and we're going to factor them out. That's 1x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0 is what that is. Now, if you guys like to do quadratic formula every time, I'm fine with that. Just do quadratic formula, just plug it in. All right, so let's factor this out. We'll factor the easy ones. We'll do quadratic formula on the hard ones. So anytime you don't have a number in the front of the x squared, I'm saying that's an easy. We know that's got to be x times x. All right, what else do we know? We know I got to times this number and get 3. So what's it got to be? 1 times 3. Are my signs going to be the same or different? Let's check. Second sign's a plus. They're going to be the same. They're both going to be plus. Everybody good? All right, last step. If I set x plus 3 equal to 0 and I move that over, that answer is going to be negative 3. And this answer right here is going to be negative 1. All right, so this is about how much work you're going to have to show on every problem. Now, you guys have these fancy graphing calculators, and you're supposed to know how to use them. So to check your work, if you ever want to check your work and know whether or not you got it right, we're going to plug this problem in, and we're going to let the calculator show us these 3 answers. So everybody go to y equals, top left-hand corner. Clear it if anything's there. Clear it out. Anybody else need one? All right, y equals, clear this. We're going to type in x to the 3rd. Y'all remember how to type in x to the 3rd? Hit your x first on the right side of the green alpha key. Now for your exponent over 3, this is your exponent button. Caret button. I think when y'all were in middle school, y'all called it rooftop. Caret 3. So that's x to the 3rd. Then you got to get out of it by arrow over 1 time. And continue to type it in. Plus 9x squared. Plus 23x plus 15. Hit graph when you're done, and it's gonna give you a weird looking graph. Oh, I messed up because I didn't give you the right answer. What in the heck did I do? All right, let's go back. I messed up. All right, x to the 3rd. All right, it's 9x squared. I didn't even type 9. Sorry. 9x squared. There we go. Now I got it. All right, let's try it again. Graph it. Boom, boom, boom. All right, it gave me a weird graph. It gave me that. Did y'all get this? How is that your answer? Our answers are -5, -1, and -3. Look at that. Right, it hits the x-axis at -1, -3, and -5. Does everybody see that? So your three answers is where your graph hits the x-axis. And that makes sense because it's x equals -5, x equals -1. So in the future, if you want to check your answer, you can bring it up on your calculator and look at it. All right, let's go to number 2. All right, y'all should be able to do this one the same way we did number 1. Go, start it. All right, so we got 1, 3 times 1 is 3, add them up. All right, my numbers are getting pretty big here. I hope I haven't messed up. That's 14. Somebody help me. What's 3 times 14? 42. So I got an 8. All right, it all worked out. Positive 24. Last column cancel, so I know I'm good so far. All right, so now we got a problem. Look back on the last problem we did. When you get 3 numbers left over, that's called a quadratic. And you can factor or do quadratic formula. Okay? But you can only have 3 numbers. How many numbers we got left over right now? We got 4. You can't have 4. That means we have to do synthetic division one more time. So anytime you got a problem that starts off x to the 4th, you're going to have to do synthetic division twice. Now, what's the question that you guys are thinking? What goes in the box? All right, well, the only numbers that can go in the box are numbers that divide into 8, such as 1, 2, 4, 8. Always, on every problem, start with +1. If it doesn't work, go to -1. If it doesn't work, go up to the next number, 2, and then -2, and so forth. Most every problem I give you, either +1 or -1 is going to work. Let's do +1. Y'all don't have to try. Just watch me, and let's see if +1 works. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them up. All right, I don't think this is going to work. It doesn't work. How can you look at this and know that it doesn't work? Last column doesn't cancel, so that tells you it doesn't work. All right, so that means it's probably going to be -1. I'm going to give y'all a chance to try -1. It should work. If it doesn't, we'll have to go up to the next number and do +2. All right, so I bring my 1 down. Add them up, I got 6. -1 times 6 is -6. Add them up, I got 8. -1 times 8 is -8. Okay, now I know it's right because the last column canceled out. So now what we're left with is x squared plus 6x plus 8 equals 0. And let's give you guys just a real quick chance to factor that out. It should factor out really easy. So we got x times x, factors of 8 on this one. I'm going to go with 2 times 4. Are my signs the same or different on this one? Same. They're the same. They're both going to be pluses. All right, so when I finish it up and I move +2 over, that's a -2. That's a -4. I got -1 and +3. What in the world? Circle your 4 answers for me on that. All right, number 4, you guys should be fine on. I'll give y'all time to do that one in a minute. Let's go to number 5 because it's just like the one we just finished. All right, so 4 y'all should be good on. Let's go to 5. All right, you guys do the first step. Let's see how far you can go by yourself. All right, so what goes in the box on this one? I got +4. Bring down 2, -1, -21. Let's give y'all a chance to finish it. All right, so I bring down 2, I get 8, add them up, I get 7. 4 times 7, 28. Add them up. All right, mine should be good because the last column canceled out. Make sure we got the same thing. Is that what y'all got? Hey, what you got?
Oh, no, I have that, but here, so say I work my stuff out on a scratch piece.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do I write it like that,
Yeah.
or do I just write the 3?
Let's see. That's fine. All right, so now we have to do we've got to do synthetic division one more time. How do I know I'm looking at this one and I got to do it one more time? What tells me? We got 4 numbers. You can't have 4 numbers. Draw your line again. James, what do I try in the box the first time? 1. Has anybody tried positive 1? Does it work? Positive 1 doesn't work, so I'm going to guess negative 1 works. All right, you guys do negative 1 and finish it up. What you got? Put on the board, make sure we got the same thing. What in the world? Negative 4, that's a positive 4 right there. Alright, so how do you know what goes in the box? You always take this number and flip the side.
Yeah.
So positive 4 should have went there, not negative 4.
Is that all?
That's all. That made you mess up on everything else. Alright, so look at what we've got. We've got 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. Now, if you still want to factor this one out, you can, but I'm going to say this. If we have a quadratic, if we have an equation, and we've got a number in front of the x squared, we're just going to do a quadratic formula. I'm not even going to try to show y'all how to factor those. All right, y'all had 9th grade to factor them and last year to factor them. If you don't know by now, it takes days. So I'm just going to plug that in quadratic formula. All right, so here's your formula. We start off with negative 5 plus or minus b squared. So 5 squared is 25 minus 4 times 2 times 2. I'm going to give y'all a chance to plug that in your calculator and let's see what you get. Remember? All right, so since I got 9 right here, the square root of 9 is 3. Make sure, take that square root of 9 down and make it a 3. So you got to be able to go from here to here just using your calculator. All right, last step. You got a plus and the minus. Do the plus first. Hit your fraction button. On top, you got negative 5 plus 3. On bottom, you got 4. First answer, I got negative 1/2. All right, second answer is when you're going to use the minus sign. So fraction button. On top, I got negative 5 minus 3. On bottom, I got 4. Second answer is, I got negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 answers. You just got to go have some fractions. All right, so, Laney, we on 8. Everybody's on 8. Ashton, we on 8. Y'all put your phones up.
Yes, sir.
All right, how is this one different? Look at what goes in the box. You set this equal to 0, so y'all help me. What do I move over first? Good, so that'd be a negative 1, right? What do I do next? Divide by 5. So we're going to have negative 1/5 in the box. I'm hoping this is the way Miss Carter did it last year. Now, there's a couple different ways from here you can do it, guys. I'm going to show you the way that works every time. What's on the bottom of the fraction? That means that they're dividing by 5. And if you divide by 5 in the box, you have to divide these numbers by 5 before you bring them down. That's the only thing that's different. So 10 divided by 5, bring down a 2. 37 divided by 5, I'm just going to leave it 37 over 5. I'd rather you not make it a decimal. You could if you wanted to, but I'm going to leave it a fraction. I got 37 over 5 again. 6 divided by 5 is 6 over 5. Does everyone see how we got those numbers? All right, now from here, Hunter, you do it the same way that we've been doing them. You bring your first number down to get started. All right, now, you guys see these fractions, and y'all don't want to go any further, but it's not going to be that bad.
You do 10 divided by 5.
2 times negative 1/5. All you have to do is multiply 2 by the top number. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So write down negative 2/5 right there. Now, it may be best just to add those up on your calculator. So 37 over 5, let's put it in, 37 over 5 plus negative 2 over 5. What'd y'all get? The calculator gave me 7. All right, next, like I just showed you, you only have to multiply 7 by the top number in the fraction. So that's going to give you negative 7 over 5. And once again, add them up in your calculator. Unless you're pretty good at doing fractions in your head, some of you may be, just add them up right here. So I got 37 over 5 plus negative 7 over 5 equals, I got 6. Everybody good? 6 times negative 1 gives you negative 6 over 5. You knew that was going to cancel out anyway, right? All right, now let me say this. You may have fractions up in here. Samar, you may have fractions up in here. I will never give you a problem where you have fractions down here in your answer. I could, but then that just creates more issues for us to deal with. So if you have an answer down here that's a fraction, you need to go back because you messed up. Now you got your 3 numbers. I don't want you to factor this one because the first number is not a 1. I want you to do quadratic formula on that. There's your A, there's your B, there's your C. Do it. And then after that. All right, Samari, how do we figure out what goes in the box? Good job. So move the 3 over is negative 3 divided by 5. So I got negative 3/5. All right, so now, what is special about this one? You got a 5 on the bottom of the fraction. What does that mean you got to do to these numbers before you bring them down? Divide by 5. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. I need some help. What's 150 divided by 5? 30. 131 over 5 is a fraction. 30 divided by 5 is 6. All right, I'm going to stop again. Let you work. All right, so we bring the 5 down. 5 times negative 3 over 5 should be negative 3. Would somebody check me on that? I did it in my head. Is that right? Okay. Add them up, I got 27. Now, 27 times negative 3 over 5, I can't do that. I'm going to have to add that one. I'm going to have to type that one in. 27 times negative 3 over 5 is. Calculator gave me negative 81 over 5. Now we got to add those up. So negative 81 over 5 plus 131 over 5 is, I got 10. Now once again, I'm going to multiply 10 times negative 3 over 5. 10 times negative 3 over 5 is, I got negative 6. All right, so we know we got it right. Quadratic formula, and I'm guessing the numbers are going to be pretty big because when you square 27, that's going to be pretty big. All right, so we got to do quadratic formula on this one. You cannot you could factor this one. I would rather you do quadratic formula. All right, so 27 squared is 729 minus 4 times 5 times 10 over 10. All right, let's give y'all a second to finish that. Y'all can take your bathroom break right now. Y'all done good.